David, Jennifer, Pegatha, Breezy, Ryan, John, Paul, and Ron rocking today. Good morning. John and I just returned from the annual ministers gathering in Dallas, Texas. Last year it was here. And in a week and a half, the annual practitioner gathering will be here. So if you drop by during the week and see a lot of people here, that's what that's about. But every time I get around my peers, I always learn so much. Some things I learn by saying, yes, that's great. And some things I learn by going, that's totally out of alignment in consciousness. That's out of alignment with principle. That's not who we are. But either way, it allows me to be clear about what the basic fundamental teachings and principles, what the basic fundamental principles are of this teaching. And so I wanted to go over some things today just so that we can remember. I heard Dr. Peter Weldes talk about the 4 levels of consciousness, 4 stages of consciousness, if you will, that we use to try to describe how we operate in the world. Where's my clicker? I have a clicker. I feel so powerful. I have the clicker. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. And the first one where most people come into this teaching is living in the state of consciousness called to me. And that's where things are happening to me. That's where I don't have any control over what's happening. I'm not manifesting my experience. I'm not living in the love. I'm not demonstrating prosperity and joy and success. Things are happening to me, whether they be political things, whether they be things that other people are doing or not doing, they appear to be beyond my control and happening to me. I appear in this realm of consciousness, this level of consciousness, to be a victim. And I love this triangle because it shows so clearly how when we are in the, and this is a classic psychological analogy, when we are in, it's called the victim, rescuer, perpetrator triangle, shortened to the triangle. When we are in the triangle, we are experiencing life as a victim. And in order to be a victim, and this is key, in order to be a victim, you have to find a perpetrator. And some people look far and wide for that perpetrator. Some people go back in their past and they hold on to the story that gives them perpetrator consciousness and therefore victim status, and they hold that up as a banner for which they live. And if you have found a perpetrator, always, 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 in that triangle exists a rescuer. And this is the basic way to see this triangle, but the subtleties continue to go on. Because I have also found that some people, especially in a spiritual path, want to help so much. They love to help, and they have this big heart, and they want to give, and they haven't quite fine-tuned the ways that they can give in a healthy way, a healthy model. So oftentimes, people will show up and they will start to rescue. But listen to me. In order to be a rescuer, what do you have to have? A victim. So you have to go through life looking for victims so that you can rescue them. And in order to have a victim, you have to have a perpetrator. So if you find a perpetrator, you'll look for a victim, and then you'll jump in and try to rescue them. Sometimes the best advice for this model is mind your own business. Mind your own business. Sometimes people get tagged as perpetrators when they had no animosity. You sat in my seat. What? We have assigned seating in the sanctuary? No, we don't. So sometimes because people are looking, the only way they've known to live is through that victim mentality. Sometimes they will seek out perpetrators and put that label on them, and then they'll need to be a rescuer. And another important concept about this diagram is that you cannot be in one point of the diagram without being at all 3 points. So once you jump in as a victim, you're going to experience being a perpetrator and needing to rescue. And the whole thing is highly dysfunctional because it's based on the level of consciousness that life happens to me or life happens to someone else. And I just want to go on record saying we are not victims. We are not victims. There are no victims, only volunteers. And so what are we volunteering for? We're volunteering for seeing our consciousness outpictured in time and space so that we can learn from it and grow to an expanded state of consciousness. Once we come into this teaching of being victimized, most people either have a physical illness or they've suffered some kind of disaster or they're just suffering, period, and they come in here, then we teach them, you don't have to live that way. You're a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. God is individualized as you. And remember, in order for there to be a unity, in order for there to be one, then the entirety of the unity must exist at every point simultaneously. All of God is you. All of Spirit is you. And you are all of it. So we tell people that there's a power and a presence within them that can create their lives. I can teach you how to grab money right out of thin air. I can teach you how to heal that illness. I can teach you how to heal that emotional distress. I can teach you how to have the doors of success open for you and welcome you in. That's by me. And that is a very, very good step when you're coming from to me. But I have heard in our teaching by leaders of this movement that science of mind will only take you to by me. Wow. Really? We don't get what a power and a presence within us means? We're still trying to use our own personal willpower to create, and that's as far as oneness will take us? How absurd. Because once you master by me, which we must master, we must learn how to have prosperity and health and wholeness, to have loving relationships, to be able to have what we want to have, do what we want to do, go where we want to go, buy what we want to buy. We need to do that so that we can move to through me. And I know that there are some times I go around and just go, psst. I can feel it. Anything that I touch turns to gold. There is an energy that moves through me, and I know that whatever it is I'm focusing on, things are happening. The energy is flowing. The creative process is happening. The light is moving. I can feel it moving through me, and it feels fantastic. It uplifts me. It inspires me, and I know that anything is possible. That is a very important level to be at. Nothing wrong with Toomey. We all go there, and some of us go back regularly for a visit. Nothing wrong with by me. We all need to learn how to manifest in this world. But when we move up to through me, we're connected. We're like a plug plugged into the wall, and there's something flowing through us and coming out into our lives, and things are happening, baby. We can feel it. We know that action is going on, and there is a different experience that we're having. And then I was taught that when you go to as me, that's only for the Christs, the Buddhas, the Mother Teresas. And I was so proud of Petra Weldis at her Tuesday night midweek celebration that they threw for us, when she got up to speak and she said, to say that science of mind will not take you to ASME is ridiculous. Every time we treat, every time we know, and we know that we know that we know, we are the presence of the divine. We are it, and that is ASME. And the whole room erupted in cheers. Because we were filled with a room of ministers who knew that. They have been in that state where we're not trying to know health. We're simply realizing the truth. And as Ernest says, there is nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed. And when we know that, there is no effort anymore. There is simply a clear consciousness of awareness. And that's when things change. That is the point that we spend time training ourselves to get to. And one of the best ways that we can do that is through spiritual mind treatment. So those of you in my Monday night class who are learning spiritual mind treatment and practicing spiritual mind treatment, I understand that you're at by me, and I understand that you're kissing through me, but what's waiting for you is as me, where there is a clarity of consciousness that is so sure that there is absolutely no doubt. There is only the awareness of the presence of the divine at whatever we are focused upon. Tumors disappear, diagnoses change. I love it when the doctors say, oh my goodness, we just misdiagnosed you. We must have made a mistake because this thing never goes away. When money shows up, when things change, that's the level where the magic happens. And I love that level so much. But I want to be really clear. We are not victims in this teaching. If we are feeling like victims, it is our job to raise our level of consciousness up so that we can experience so much more of living the divine presence. And that's when things just fall into place. Serendipity, synchronicity, love, joy, prosperity, healing, wholeness, all just happen around us. That's where we're going. That's where we should be expecting ourselves to live. So I had a wonderful time with my peers, and I had a great opportunity. I don't know what my next slide is. Close your eyes. Oh. I get these from the website all the time. I'm flying back on the plane, and I check my emails, and I get this one on Friday. This is just Friday. This is from Rob Edwards in South Carolina. He says, this is for the impact Barbara Waterhouse has made in my life in 3 short weeks. I'm going to change the world with her. Yay, Rob! 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I love our website. Our website had 16,000 visits on it, and Devon and Rodney worked tirelessly and generously to keep that thing going. And I found myself in a meeting, one of the breakout sessions, with Reverend Alex Escudero and Martha Quintero. And they were talking about Spanish ministry outreaches. And since I want to change the whole world, and evidently Rob is going to help me, then I'm interested in how to reach out. And many people in that breakout session were talking about how to attract more, this is the new word, Latinx. Not Hispanic, because that connotates people from Spain taking over South America. They were not happy about that. So we don't go with Hispanic, and Latino is male and Latina is female, so it's Latinx. Attracting more Latinx members to their center. And I'm thinking this is well and good, but I'm not looking for particular groups to bring in. Whoever shows up for me is the perfect and right person, and I love you so much for coming. I want to change the world. I've always wanted to change the world. My question was, how can I change the world with Spanish? Because 1.5 billion people on the planet speak English. Great. Most of them, it is not their first language, but they do speak it, and our website is in English. 1.3 billion people speak Chinese. I don't know any Chinese. I don't know anything about Chinese. I can't even read Chinese. But 577 million people speak Spanish. And what I learned at that breakout session is that some of the centers around the country are posting their Sunday talks online, and they simply have a translator speaking over the speaker in Spanish. I pulled up one of those websites and I went, oh, I can do that. I can have someone just run over my voice, dim me down, I'm still talking, but somebody is saying, and someone on the other side of the world is going, yeah, sí, eso sí que es. Es verdad. Somebody can do that. And so I started asking questions like I do. What we have on our website are not only our Sunday talks and our classes, but we have books. We have books that are in public domain. Granted, they're printed by dead white guys, but I don't care. I learned this teaching from dead white guys. I'm very affectionate toward them. And we have books on our website. Did you know that you can take an entire book and put it in Google Translate, and it will translate the entire book? Now, you need someone who speaks the language and knows what it's trying to say to go over it. But then it's a question of editing, not translating. It's much faster to edit, much less expensive to edit than to translate from scratch. So I want you to know that I have a new fire sparked in me, because this information is too important to keep it locked up in one language. This information is too important to say to people in South America that, oh, you don't speak English, you can't get it. So what I'm planning on doing as my new winter hobby is translating our books from English to Spanish and get them edited by a Spanish neutral trained editor. And then I'm going to work on getting a Spanish neutral, that's the code I learned, Latinx and Spanish neutral, my new words, Spanish neutral translator to speak over, to run an audio track and just speak over what I'm saying or what John is saying on Sunday mornings and put that out there. So trusting that the perfect and right people will find it. If we have 16,000 English-speaking people on our website in a month, then how quickly will that disseminate to people who speak Spanish? We already have 2 books in Russian on our website. One is the original Science of Mind textbook, and one is 5 Steps to Freedom by John Waterhouse. It's time for us to expand. There are people waiting for this teaching. There are people who know that there's got to be something more, that living in the to-me mentality is not what they were created to do. There are people who are longing to rise up in their level of consciousness, to have a true connection with everyone, with all that is, to let go of being victims or rescuers or perpetrators, to master creation, to feel it move through them, and then to know it as them. That is our job. That is my commitment. We are taking off again. I love you very much.
We get no dust collection on Barbara. Thank you all for being here today. Do we have anyone in the room that's here for the very first time? If you are, would you raise your hand? Just welcome, welcome. Thank you for being with us this morning. Good to have you. Anyone else here for the first time? Well, we've got a gift for you out there. Maybe we'll give you 2. We're glad you're here with us. Thank you so much. And while the beautiful lady in the back is filling out her card, why don't we have our prosperity acceptors come forward, and we'll grab these. Oh, am I mussed up? Okay, thank you for fixing me. Be surprised. You wouldn't be surprised how often that happens, that I get fixed. So take what you're going to give. I've got these checks that have come in the mail, and Barbara's and mine. Take your gift, put it close to your heart, and know with me that that presence and power that Barbara spoke of so clearly today dwells right here in the midst of us. We are the creative force of our lives as the divine presence. And we use the money in our lives to make a difference. It comes into our lives in abundance, and it flows out with that great sense of prosperity that we are. And lives are touched and changed because of who we are and what we do. And I know that each gift this day is blessed, and the giver is blessed. And we create a world that is working for all of us. And by knowing this and doing this, we are making a difference in the lives of untold thousands of people right here and right now. So we let this be the truth. As together we say our investment affirmation, I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing the gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is.